Maybe he's a little overtrained. It's not a pill.
Ooh, a suppository.
Think you're too old to read comics? Think again. Some of the most hysterical shows in television history have been animated, and often the biggest surprises for adult viewers are kept a secret, only to bluff younger viewers. Matricide fantasies, sexual innuendos and hard-hitting PC jokes look more flavorful when drawn with pen and paper, and often give animation leeway it doesn't get in real life. Here are 10 of the funniest anime series of all time, in order of debut. If you don't agree, don't hammer me or smash me with an anvil.
Miami Beach at last!
10. The Bugs Bunny Show, 1960. Isn't he stinky? Yes, he is totally hysterical. The Bugs Bunny Show premiered in his 1960s and has gone through various versions over the decades since. It was funnier and much more interesting than any anime series that came before it. From the outset, the show was a vehicle for the ensemble, Looney Tunes and Merry He Melodies, which went on air in 1948 to showcase a long list of characters. The Bugs Bunny Show used the series' protagonist, who calls himself Wobbit, as a stepping stone to promote and popularize animated productions, many of which were revered characters in their own right. Sneaky Daffy Duck, gregarious Foghorn Leghorn, stuttering Pig Porky Pig, seemingly angry Yosemite Sam, and sexual assault maniac Pepe Le Pew are all under the Bugs banner appeared. In 1966, the series coalesced with another Catch Me If You Can trickster to become Bugs Bunny Road Runner Hour, which briefly provided 1001's quest to kill Coyote. I hysterically introduced the method, but more often than not, it was Bugs himself who stole the show. Whether it's getting desperate hunter Elmer Fudd to shoot himself again, dressing up as a femme fatale from Marilyn Monroe to Little Red Riding Hood, or having an opera singer suffocate and destroy an opera house, Bugs enjoyed the extra injury and did it brilliantly. And voices Inspector Gadget. A dunder-headed cyborg law enforcement officer, Gadget, like Agent 86 before him, saves the day through a combination of dumb luck and savvy help from secondary characters. Throughout, Gadget's device are an inventive, device. 8. The Simpsons, 1989. When The Simpsons debuted on December 17, 1989, on the 3-year-old Fox network, George H.W. Bush was in his first year in office. The Berlin Wall had fallen just a month earlier, and the internet didn't exist. 32 years and over 700 episodes later, Matt Groening's Yellow-Skinned Family is the longest scripted television show in American history. Although by today's coarser standards the show is comparably docile, when The Simpsons debuted it was edgy to the point of widespread controversy. The recipe was there. An adultish cartoon on primetime network television with a character, Bart, emulated by kids everywhere. Almost overnight, T-shirts with Bart's signature expressions, including "I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you?" were banned from schools across the country. Regardless, The Simpsons didn't need controversy, because it was and remains flat-out funny. The best episodes revolve around Homer, the underachieving, harebrained, scheming, stereotypical sitcom doofus dad. But even when the donut-scarfing, duff beer-chugging patriarch is sidelined, The Simpsons has the largest, deepest bench of recurring characters in TV to keep it from going stale. An older-than-dirt and richer-than-sin boss with a fawning, obviously homosexual assistant. School days consisting of nerds, bullies, a stoner bus driver, and checked-out teachers. A product-shilling kids show host named Krusty the Clown, aided mightily by the uber-violent Tom and Jerry knockoffs Itchy and Scratchy. The Simpsons started with a family and built a broader universe that gave it both ample comedic outlets and, of course, staying power.
I want log!
7.
Boy, oh
Ren and
boy.
Stimpy, 1991. Looking back, it's mind-boggling that the farting, nipple-obsessed adventures of an angry chihuahua and his clueless cat cohort was a Saturday morning kids' cartoon, and on the squeaky-clean Nickelodeon network, no less. Stylistically, Ren and Stimpy alternates between a universe seemingly created by a stoner a few joints in, no one comes up with a superhero named Powdered Toast Man sober, and one dreamt up by that same stoner after finding his magic mushroom stash. Visually trippy and musically eerie, the action catapults between a dog whose head is about to burst with rage and a cat whose head has nothing in it to burst. In one hysterical scene, Stimpy affixes a device to Ren's head that keeps him uncharacteristically merry before turning on his favourite tune, Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. As the song concludes, we see Ren, maniacally grinning ear to ear, bashing his unwanted helmet with a hammer along to the cheery chorus. Not surprisingly, the show's creators came into frequent conflict with concerned network executives. Several episodes had violent, gruesome, or suggestive scenes shortened or removed, including a sequence involving a severed head and a close-up of Ren's face being grated against a man's stubbly beard. Fortunately, one signature scene survived the cutting room floor, a sing-songy commercial for Log, whose versatility includes being great for a snack, it fits on your back, it's log, log, log.
A 12-hour record set of the top hits of the 70s, but best of all, a trip to Hollywood.
Excuse me, young brother. May we ask you a question?
Are you threatening me?
6.
My bunghole will
Beavis
ask
and
the
Butthead,
question.
1993. Of course, Beavis and Butthead made the cut. Despite the unforgivable crime of inventing modern reality television with 1992's The Real World, MTV, short for music television, also contributed one of the most hysterical cartoons ever. Beavis and Butthead were a product of their unique moment in time. Teenage Gen Xers slacking off by doing the most slack-centric thing imaginable in the early 90s, watching music videos. Brilliantly, the show not only gave MTV a hit series, but through it, a vehicle to promote both music videos in general and certain artists in particular. Typically head-banging acts, the Metallica and AC/DC t-shirt-wearing pair could thrash along too from their well-worn couch. The show is so stupid that it's smart. A pair of white, trash-adjacent, semi-literate 14-year-old miscreants sticking M80s up frogs' asses, stabbing each other in the eyes with pencils in class, and hopelessly pursuing every pubescent male's perpetual goal, to score, as Butthead so eloquently puts it. At its heart, Beavis and Butthead has a Seinfeldian component to it, insomuch as the duo's mundane adventures accomplish exactly nothing and have 0 point. It's just a couple of anti-hero losers failing at everything, and it just works. Notably, Beavis and Butthead birthed a successful spin-off, Daria, whom the two called What Else Diarrhea, that received serious consideration for inclusion on this list.
Will be just fine.
I would hate for my bunghole to get polio.
Me too.
Okay, Wi-Fi plus 3G, 64 gig. This one.
Oh, sweetie, $900?
I can't wait to see the look on Kyle's stupid face when he sees...
5. South Park, 1997. A quarter-century ago, Trey Parker and Matt Stone premiered a crudely drawn cartoon on a little-known cable channel called Comedy Central. Showcasing the mountain town tribulations of 4 8-year-old boys, South Park's pilot episode featured one of the children, Eric Cartman, getting abducted by aliens. Its title, Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, hinted at the groundbreakingly offensive humour to come. South Park is great for 2 reasons, the first being its main characters. Cartman is a pudgy, foul-mouthed bigot who frequently goes full anti-Semite on his Jewish cohort, Kyle. Stan is the nervous, straight man of the quartet, while Kenny, muffled under a hood, finds a way to get killed each episode. The recurring cast is just as hysterical. A wise chef voiced by R&B singer Isaac Hayes, who brags about his chocolate salty balls. A balding transvestite schoolteacher who can't wait for someone to pound my vag. A Christmas poo named Mr. Hanky, who symbolizes the season's rampant consumerism. South Park is at its best when using a child's medium cartooning to parody or troll society. One recent winner came when Cartman messes with his parents' Amazon Alexa by swearing and adding disgusting items to their online shopping list. Many viewers reported that their own Alexa heard Cartman and acted accordingly, a brilliant prank indicative of the show's mocking genius.
Please, can we just go back and get the Toshiba handy book?
All I'm saying is that you just need to find an activity that you and Stewie can
4.
share.
Family Guy,
Peter, can you reach
1999. The Griffins did what few other shows have accomplished. They returned from a multi-year cancellation to achieve long-standing success. The first 3 seasons of Family Guy were okay. The animation was unrefined, and the show lacked the anything-goes, go-for-the-jugular bite that defines it today. Like other contemporary cartoons, Family Guy gets away with comedy that would cause human-acted shows to get cancelled, both from networks and uber-sensitive society in general. Gay jokes, racist tropes, including a money-loving Jewish store owner and an episode where Peter, obsessed with his new bullwhip, conspicuously approaches the home of his black friend. An insatiable neighbour's rapey escapades, and even the frumpy daughter's frequent suicidal gestures are all leaned into without fear of repercussion, a refreshing offensiveness in the vein of Archie Bunker. 2 of Family Guy's attributes stand out among also-rans. First, the show both knows and double downs on its audience, young and middle-aged men. A prime example is its epic inside gag-riddled Star Wars parodies, starring Peter as Han. The second is the simple fact that the baby, Stewie, might be the funniest cartoon character of all time. A wise-cracking, sexuality-ambiguous evil genius, Stewie waffles between inventing interdimensional travel and not knowing his shapes, while employing the show's signature cutaway segments to reference everything from matricide to dancing topless at a bar.
What would you do, right? If you ran a business, right, your
3.
business could go
The
under.
Ricky Gervais Show, 2010. How talented is Ricky Gervais? He did something never intended to be a cartoon that became among the most laugh-out-loud, funny animated series ever. In 1998, Gervais and fellow comedian Stephen Merchant started a radio series that was mostly just them telling silly stories. It aired for a few months before ending so the pair could collaborate on the soon-to-be legendary TV series, The Office. The radio show returned in 2001 with a producer named Carl Pilkington. It was a match made in comedic heaven because Pilkington is an idiot, and Gervais's brand of humour is made for mockery. Carl's comments were so odd, and his answers to standard hypothetical questions so inanely imagistic. Ricky, what would you do if you knew the world was ending? Carl, well, I've always wanted to kick a duck up the arse. That making a surefire hit cartoon meant nothing more than animating a ready-made, pre-recorded radio program. As an unintentional comedic motherlode, Carl's moronic brilliance cannot be overstated. Here's a highlight reel where he muses how he'd trust jellyfish more if they had eyes, since, you know, you can look a fish in the eyes. Repeatedly calls British film star Clive Owen Clive Warren, prompting a hilarious cutaway sequence, and answers a question about what he'd do with an exact clone of himself by wondering aloud, how would I know which one I was?
No, because they've done it before.
And in Weird Things in Space News, that mysterious rift is still there. Not gone yet. You remember that,
2.
don't you? It's probably
Rick and
important.
Morty, 2013. Rick and Morty follows the freewheeling intergalactic adventures of a megalomaniacal septuagenarian and his tepid teenage grandson. Armed with a portal gun and an endless arsenal of gadgets, weapons and anecdotes, Rick Sanchez drags his hesitant helper Morty on hilarious half-hour missions ranging in importance from the annihilation of Earth to a multi-thousand-some orgy with a goddess-like former love interest who embodies the residents of an entire planet. The show has an obvious advantage, a literally infinite universe from which to invent sick, weird, nerdgasmic comedy. Rick takes his son-in-law Jerry to a spa with an invincibility shield. Alien children run around with real guns shooting each other, but pop right back up because dying is impossible, until Rick gets into a fight on a roller coaster, which spins out of control and shatters the force field. The same kids shoot each other again. This time they stay dead. No plot? No problem. Rick can just turn on the intergalactic cable and let hilarity ensue, like a leprechaun getting gutted by kids for his strawberry smiggles. "Geez, Rick," says Morty, "that's some pretty hardcore stuff for a cereal commercial." In another episode, Rick and Morty embark on a roundabout time-traveling journey to 1998 for the express purpose of getting a short-lived dipping sauce that McDonald's introduced to promote a Disney movie. The episode was so popular that McDonald's brought the sauce back for a limited time.
Doors are back.
Monkeys went bald?
I'm on my way to Orange County to see my wife and kid. They're going to be so pumped.
2016. This list's most recent and shortest-lived entry is Who Framed Roger Rabbit on Steroids. Son of Zorn depicts an animated barbarian brute dropped into modern-day live-action society, complete with a human ex-wife and son. It's basically He-Man in suburbia, if He-Man told R-rated jokes and threatened to murder innocent people. The premise: a warrior from the fictional island of Zephyria moves to Orange County, California, to reconnect with his ex-wife, played by Curb Your Enthusiasm's Cheryl Hines, and teenage son Alangalon, nicknamed Alan. Zorn tries his best to pick up where he left off with Alan. Impressed, Hines notes that Zorn has got a job, got an apartment, even freed all his slaves, but is perpetually thrown off course because he's a cartoon barbarian. Along the way, Zorn gets a job where he literally can't comprehend his boss's womanhood and incessantly intimidates his ex-wife's boyfriend, played by Tim Meadows. In one scene, Zorn orders a steak at dinner. Asked how he'd like it cooked, he answers, not. Let's go with not. Later, he gifts his son a giant animated falcon from his homeland. When Alan's mum refuses, a miffed Zorn stabs the enormous bird with his sword. Unfortunately, Son of Zorn never really found an audience and lasted just a single season. Netflix, Amazon and Hulu, we're looking at you for a revival.
An apartment, he freed all his slaves.
Food whore!
Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update from our channel. We have so much more exciting content coming your way, and I'd love to have you as part of our amazing community.